Hi, everybody. I'm D.Lisa West, and I'm a dream doula.
And I'm Christina Spataro. I'm a psychotherapist and relationship coach.
So happy to be here with you today. And this is what we're going to chat about because I have been going down memory lane looking at 20-year-old videos when my children were young and I had browner hair. And I thought that was such an interesting view of my past.
Mm-hmm.
And did I really know who I was then? Have I really changed between then and now? Well, besides aging 20
Mm-hmm.
years, what? And I'd love to hear from a therapist point of view, like what happens when people remember their past, but
Mm-hmm.
then they see it in a movie or a video, and they're
Mm.
like, oh, hey, because maybe it really wasn't that thing I remembered.
I think the interesting thing, especially now, because we're like cataloging everything
Yes.
and putting it on Facebook and having our phones, I think there was a time before, social media and all that, where you did have family home movies and you did have that, but you weren't necessarily looking at it with the regularity or the frequency that you're looking at it now.
Oh, yeah,
So
perfect.
it was much easier, I think, to remember things maybe more how we thought they were than
Hmm.
how they really were. And let's be honest, when will be the last time you take out the older movies? I mean, anyone who's ever had the experience of, okay, we're going to short age a bit, like someone went on vacation. Oh, let me show you the slides. Or
Right.
let me,
Yeah. If you're old enough, you remember slideshows and home movies
yeah,
in people's basements. Like maybe you had
yes,
popcorn, but maybe you're like, oh,
right,
and nobody edited them or cut them so much. So
right,
you're like, it was like the long, boring scene, and now we're
yes,
still at the beach and the wind is
yes.
blowing and the sound. You know what's interesting? These are 20-year-old videos, and the sound quality is so inferior to what our
What our little
phones can
phones
do
do.
right now. Uh,
Exactly. I mean,
it's like
for,
the hissing sound of the wind going by and
yes,
very slight, like, what did we say?
yes. It was so let's be honest, aside from maybe a family occasion or somebody came back from vacation, we weren't really looking at those. But now, because it is on our phone, or it is on our Facebook, or it is on our social media, it's on our WhatsApp, you're more able to go look at that and sort of refresh. But now, maybe you haven't looked at that since you were like a kid. And so you might have a memory of that time at the beach that is different from what actually happened.
Oh, 100%. What I'm noticing, oh, first of all, so my daughters are now around the age of 30,
Mm-hmm.
and they were making these videos when they were 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, little
Aw.
teenagers. And they one of their sweethearts said, you know what? I watched those videos with you last night, and here's what I decided. You're all exactly the same. Uh, you, D. Lisa, have the same haircut. And one daughter, she's cooking a lot of food. And
Mm.
that's what she loves to do now. She loves to cook food. The other daughter's baking a lot of sweet treats. That's what she loves to do. She's baking sweet treats. And their personalities really shone through in these videos. Like one of them's kind of sassy and grumpy,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one's like a joker, and she just doesn't, whatever. If people say no to her, she just keeps plodding ahead. So the
Mm-hmm.
not maybe the situations we were in or what we were doing right then, who we are, the essence of who we are,
Sense of who you
seems
are.
to be, at least in this man's point of view, the same 20 years ago as it is right now.
I think that's very because so who we are is there from who we are as children to ourselves. But here's the tricky part, because sometimes life gets in the way, doesn't it? And so
Yes.
maybe we didn't fulfill what we really wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is actually where you and I come in as coaches, as therapists. We come in to remind people of who they really are.
Yes.
because life got in the way maybe and did a number on you. And now instead, because we come into this world, we are these perfectly formed beings who just have this innate joy and wonder of the world, and then our natural interests come out. But like if somebody said to you, oh well, no, you can't be a baker, for instance, or you can't do that,
Yeah.
then they're
Yeah.
stifling that innate
Yeah.
thing that was there. So a
Indeed.
lot of what we do is to remind people, a lot of what I do is to remind people of who they really are and what they really want, because I don't have the familial expectation on them.
Right.
I don't have a stake in what they do. If you want to leave your high power executive job and go be a baker, I'm like, then do that.
Right on. Yeah. Go live your dream.
Yeah, go live your
Yeah.
dream.
Yeah. The other thing I noticed in these, because some of them were from my work. Apparently, I took my
Mm,
daughters to work with me and they videotaped everything. And I'm looking at these people I used to work with 20 years ago, and some of them are not still alive. And I was thinking, wow, that guy was so, you know, this and that and focused and kind of mean, and now he's dead.
right.
Or that guy was, his dream was to do something, but he wasn't really living into it, and now he's dead.
Mm,
And so I was also, wondering, like, are the memories we capture on videotape true and also are the people that I see living then that aren't alive now, like,
mm-hmm,
what were they having a good life? Were
mm,
they living their purpose and vision? Were they being true to themselves? Maybe not.
mm.
And it's so easy to see in retrospect.
Oh yeah.
So easy. But yeah, the family vacations, they're like, oh, I remember that. Why did we do that? I remember that. Ooh, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Uh, and it was the time these videos we're watching, it was the time when I was newly divorced. So
Mm,
all of my feelings of uh I remember feeling really unhappy with myself, like I was somehow
mm.
a failure because I couldn't make my marriage work.
Oh,
A- And in the videos, I just look like I got it all together. Like I'm
right.
pretending to have it all together, but I do remember that feeling inside was, I'm so sad I'm divorced now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it didn't come through. Like if anybody looked at any of the images in the video, they'd be like, oh, you look pretty happy and you're goofing off with your kids,
Mm-hmm. But
which is
you remember.
also, yeah, which is also how we put ourselves on social media.
Yes, we put the image we want to portray to the world, right? Now, you look at some
Absolutely.
of these videos, like I've seen, like these videos sort of become like the confessionals, right? But
Yeah,
even with that, it's still an image that we're choosing to put out there. And this is why when I have clients who get depressed about social media and what somebody else's life is like, they have something what I want and I want that. I'm like, honey, they're putting the image out there they want the world to see. You have no clue what their life is like when the cameras aren't on.
yeah.
You
Someone said
don't.
to me once when I was a kid, I was talking about one of the neighbors to another neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an elder, one of the parents of my friends. And he said, you don't know what things are like behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, you're right.
Yeah.
Like when I'm not at their house and they're home alone, I have no idea who those
You have
people
no
are,
clue. Right.
which is also true on social media. I mean, we do look at people on social media and think, oh, they're so happy, or they're having such a beautiful vacation or whatever. And then inside they might just be really sad or really
Exactly.
scared or really frustrated in some way that they are not sharing because they don't want people to know it.
Exactly. You're
Which
right.
takes me into the idea, like, what don't you want people to know about you? And
Mm.
would that be revealed in a home video from your childhood or some social media post that you didn't post? And
Interesting.
why would you not want them to know the whole you?
Right. And that's when you wonder, like, if was there an unconscious moment perhaps, or maybe you weren't paying attention and something was filmed that revealed maybe an expression, or where you
Mm,
looked, you were like, huh, I didn't want people to know that.
yeah.
Like, I worked with a client who was not happy when her son got married, like, not happy about it at all. And beneath the smiling pictures was an incredibly sad, sad woman.
Oh,
And there was one photo, I guess they caught her off guard. She didn't realize somebody snapped it. And in that picture, you see the sadness.
so her true feelings were caught on
Yeah,
camera.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a really great song by oops, having a brain cramp. Who did that song? Jackson Brown. And it starts out looking through some photographs I found
Mm,
inside a drawer. I found a
mm.
photograph of you. I know you would have basically, he says you would have chosen another
You
one,
chose
but
in a different
he
photograph.
caught her expression looking wistfully sad. Fountain of
Wow.
Sorrow. That's the name of the song.
Mountain of
Fountain of
Song.
Sorrow. So, like, the idea, first of all, the idea that you'd have photographs in a drawer and not in your phone, so might
Yeah,
be
I know.
like
So
an
for
old
those of
message.
you, yeah, for those of you watching, okay, so I know this is really weird, but prior to, I want to say the 2000s, okay, we're talking 1980s, 1990s. Yes, we were alive, even though some of you may not have been. So we took pictures, and even when we had digital cameras, we still put them into albums
Yeah. Or just had a pile of them in a
or just
drawer.
had a pile of them in a drawer, and they weren't on our phones because we didn't have smartphones.
That's right. That's the other thing I saw in these old home videos was flip phones.
Yes, the flip phone.
The flip phone and the phone that was real modern then that you could walk around your house with. That was the
Oh,
house phone.
yes.
It had like
It had
an
the giant
antenna,
antenna
and
thing.
it
Yes.
was really big. You pushed all the buttons. It was a portable home phone, so
Yes.
you could
Hey,
walk from
listen,
room to room.
that was state of the art. You mean I'm not tied to this room because I have a phone cord? I can actually go outside and talk on the phone.
I remember I could go all the
Wow.
way to the sidewalk, but if I got into my car, it
Yes.
stopped working.
Yes. Like you literally had it. And sometimes if it had really good range, maybe even a little bit to the house next door.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, those are the days. That was probably the most fun of part, besides seeing my kids as little
Hmm.
youngsters again, looking at the technology from 20
Yes.
years ago. So the computer monitor
Oh,
was
oh my goodness.
ginormous,
Yes.
and I had a fax machine, copy machine, printer in the corner,
Oh my God.
a
Yes.
ginormous, machine. And the one thing I thought was hilarious is that on the wall behind one of these scenes where we're in my home office, there was a piece of paper on the wall and it had circles drawn all around it.
Hmm.
And that's how I used to write my goals, and I still do it. So it's
Oh.
like the center bubble has my perfect client. And then
Oh,
all the other
interesting.
it's like a mind map. All the other bubbles were like, they respect my time and energy. They, whatever, whatever, whatever. And it's like that. I still do that.
Cool.
That was kind of fun to see. So yeah, we have an entire box. When I moved out of the family home, I took all the videos and all the different iterations of them. We had the big ones that go on the videotape machine, and we had the little ones, and then we had the little tiny ones. And I took them all to a
Wow.
place, and they're all now on CDs. But some computers don't have CD players anymore. So I think I'm still back in technology a little bit in how I'm saving those videos on CDs.
Yes. I know. I know. I mean, yes, because we went from videotape. to
Yep.
CD, and now everything is in the cloud.
Yeah. Now, if you really wanted them, you'd put them somewhere in the cloud.
Exactly. Put it somewhere in the cloud because that's the only way you're going to have it.
Wow.
Yes. So our old memories, our old videos, the things that we treasure, but that also are time capsules, really. Okay, does anyone still do time capsules anymore? Where you bury something in the backyard or in a spot that you then dig up 20 years later?
I think schools and nonprofits do it, and they do it like
Okay.
for 100 years in the future. I don't know if
Right,
anybody
right.
really still remembers that. 100 years later, someone has to remember to go dig it up.
Go dig it up.
Uh, but yeah, yeah. So when's the last time you watched a home movie, if ever?
So a home movie, probably, I want to say at least 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just tied to the fact that it was a friend's anniversary. So they decided to take out their wedding video.
Oh, nice.
And we were watching it. And yeah, that's probably the last time I really looked at old memories, old videos, myself, at that time and my own hopes and dreams. And then prior to that, of course, were the old home movies I saw when I was a kid. And then maybe would see it periodically growing up,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if any of the listeners have home movies and they have friends and relatives that are still with them, I highly recommend an evening of home movies with a little popcorn, perhaps.
Hmm.
It was really, really fun. And we laughed so much. We were crying. It was
Yeah,
so
I mean,
fun.
I think it's a great thing to do to, if you feel maybe feeling lost and
Mhm.
you want to kind of reground yourself, that kind of can be a nice little reminder. I was thinking, we were talking, what movies could I pick? And one movie that was kind of in my mind, and it's actually kind of sad because it was a Bruce Willis film. And, it was called Disney's The Kid. And it was basically about this man whose younger self comes back to basically have a chat with him and remind him of who he was and what he wanted, because he sort of lost his way
Mm.
emotionally. He's a very successful person in advertising and publicity, but he was to remind him of who he really was and to help steer him back on the right track.
Oh, and
So
what
that
was the name of that movie?
The Kid, I think it's
The
Disney's The
Kid.
Kid, starring Bruce Willis. And it's actually kind of bittersweet because, now we know that Bruce Willis is going through this slow mental decline. He's ill.
Yeah.
And so this poor man is literally being robbed of his memories. But thankfully, he has an extremely supportive family that loves him so much, that is, standing by him through this. But the idea that these movies can be capsules for our memories. And like you
Yeah.
said, if you've lost anyone or if you're struggling in any way, it can be a good reminder. So you may not get your younger self actually physically coming back to you like in a movie, but you get an image of your younger self to remind you of who you really are, what you really want. And if life didn't turn out the way you wanted to, what can you do so the rest of your life is what you'd like it to be?
Oh, that's beautiful. And we will end there with that wisdom drop. Thank you, Christina. And I'll put the movie link in the show notes for everybody. Thanks for watching.